Hello, everyone. Hello. So, welcome to our HR hour of analytics and reporting. I hope that you can all hear me and see me, maybe. So, maybe you can give me some thumbs up or maybe some emoji reactions. So, I'm sure that you can hear me and see me. Great. So, I would say let's kick this off. I will start this webinar now. So, welcome to our HR hour of analytics and reporting. I'd like to introduce myself and also to introduce the team that is with us today. So, my name is Daisy. Super nice meeting you. Some of you might know me already, but I'm Daisy. I'm Customer Success Manager at Personio, and I will be your moderator today. I'm based in Amsterdam, in our beautiful Amsterdam office. Next to me, you have Julia and Ines. Julia and Ines are also my customer success manager colleagues. They are Julia based in Amsterdam with me and Ines in Portugal, and they will be managing the chat support today. So what they will be doing is you have the opportunity today to actually ask your questions through the Q&A function in Zoom, and they would take your questions. Last, we have Antonia. Antonia is our product expert for analytics and reporting. Antonia is based in Munich, and I will leave the stage a little bit later on to Antonia, so she will tell you a little bit more about the roadmap and about what's coming next. So, as you can see, we're a pretty international team on our side today. Unfortunately, I cannot give you the chance to introduce yourself as well because we don't have enough time for this. But what I'd love to do in order to, well, get to know a little bit my audience today is to start a pool. And I'd like to ask you, what's your company size? So I will just leave a couple of seconds for you to answer this. Great. Well, I see that we have a little bit a mix today. That's really nice. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for answering that. So I see that most of you, 66% is actually a company that with more than 300 employees. And then we have also a little mix with smaller companies. Well, great. Thank you for answering this and thank you for joining today. Also, there was another poll that came up that with the question, what do you already know about analytics and reporting? So if you maybe didn't answer it yet, if you could answer this. And this just gives me a little bit an idea if you're already familiar with the tool, or maybe it is the first time that you're seeing this, or maybe you just use it 1 or 2 times. So let's see the answers. Well, I see that most of you, to be precise, 65% have some basic knowledge about it, but you'd like to know more. Well, great. So thank you so much for sharing this information. And I really hope that, well, after this session, you will be inspired and you will be motivated to use the new Beta Builder. So I'd say, let's go move forward. Before actually going into the session, well, these are some slides that you have seen during the beautiful music that was running earlier. Just some guidelines for the Q&A session. So there will be a Q&A function in Zoom where you can ask your questions, and Ines and Julia can answer your questions there. Please try to stay on topic, so we try to all benefit from a focused and structured discussion. Also, be interactive. So there's, well, you can send emojis in this session. So please, if you particularly like a topic, or maybe you're excited about the function, please, well, feel free to do that. Also, we have 5 minutes at the end of the meeting for live questions. So if you have any burning questions going on, please ask them. We will take them. And really important, some of you ask if the recording will be shared. The question is yes, this will be shared, and it will be shared with you afterwards. So please feel comfortable to share it with your colleagues who couldn't join today. Just a little disclaimer here. This is especially when Antonia will talk about the roadmap later. There will be shared some confidential information here. Please just keep in mind that these are targets and not guarantees. So just a little thing to keep in mind here. And just also another thing about the roadmap, a lot of you ask how can we create our roadmap and actually how we develop our product further. Well, the good thing is that we develop our roadmap thanks to your feedback. We have three main ways to gather feedback. As you can see here, we have the Personio community. Most of you are probably already familiar with it. And but for the one that are not, the community is a forum, let's say so, where different users, so yourself, can interact with each other, can interact with our product team, and our product team gathers your feedback in order to develop the product further. We have a customer advisory board. This is a board of customers who are involved in the product development and receive also early access to new information. So you can also give feedback to the product team about specific features that are new features, for example. And we have also the co-creation console. So this is a console of selected customers who volunteer in order to try some features that are not released to everyone yet, but they are, as we call it, in alpha release. So let's say under construction. And you can test it and provide feedback to the product team. So they can, once that they are these features are launched to everyone, these are optimized based on your on your needs. If you're not part of any of this group yet, but you would like to be part of this group, you can contact your growth manager or your customer success manager if you have one, and they will make sure to involve you. Great. So a lot of talking already before we jump into the actual session. This is the agenda of today. So as mentioned, today we are talking about analytics and reporting. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to give you, first of all, an overview about the feature. So maybe tell you the why and the what. Afterwards, we will dive into the live demo. So I will show you my test account and show you a little bit how these beta reports are created. And last, I will leave the stage to Antonia, our product expert, so who will give you a little bit of snapshot into the roadmap and will tell you what's coming next. So I'd say let's start with the first part. Here we go. So what are the beta builders exactly? So most of you who have been with Personio since sometimes you might be familiar with the report function that you have indeed on the left side of the bar of Personio, as you can see in this image. And you might know also that at the beginning, you had available two kinds of reports, the system reports and the custom reports. We received a lot of feedback from our customers, so from you, that you'd like to analyze more HR data that are in your core system, so Personio, and that you'd like also to customize this data further, to filter it further, and also maybe to have different ways to of layout. For example, when you want to present this data in a PowerPoint in front of your management team. This is where this feedback was collected from our product team, and we created what is today called the Beta Builder. So the Beta Builder was launched in the beginning of this year, if I'm correct, around the end of February. And the Beta Builder really allows you, this is an example, as you can see in the screenshot, that really allows you to analyze all the HR data that you have in Personio, to customize it, to filter it, and so on. And eventually to allow you to make these critical decisions that you need to make for your organization. You have the opportunity to create reports from scratch if you want to be a little creative, for example, but also to use pre-built templates. Don't worry about it. I will show you a little bit later how you can do this. You can create reporting, routine reporting, we call it. For example, a lot of you probably need to create reporting about absences or attendances on a weekly or monthly basis. But on the other hand, it also gives you the opportunity to create reports ad hoc. So really We all know that moment when management walks into the room and they ask us for a specific report, for example, about the headcount or about the turnover of the company of a specific department with a hard deadline. So the beta report really gives you the opportunity to create this report in a couple of seconds and in a couple of clicks. So in a nutshell, the beta reports really empower you and empower your teams to identify these problems really fast and act immediately. So this is what the beta builders look like. So as you can see in the animation screenshot, this is what I will show you also later in the demo account. But as you can see, you can choose among different chart types. You can select different custom attributes. You can select the time range. You can select filters and so on. So you can really be creative here. You can use templates that we put available for you. And you have a lot of different templates. At the beginning, we had only 2 templates available. But today we have already 7 templates available. And these are based on HR common metrics and also on industry best practices. And of course, also on your feedback. So, and there will be also more templates to come. So stay tuned about that. But of course, you also have the opportunity to create reports from scratch, as I mentioned. So if you want to be a little creative and, for example, you are looking for something specific, you can do this. So for example, you're looking for the average hour per department, or for example, about the employee per supervisor ratio. So you really can be creative. One thing to keep in mind, and this is always a thing to keep in mind when using Personio and the features in Personio, is the access rights. So also for this kind of reports, you will need the right access rights. So I put actually a screenshot of a Help Center article here. So keep in mind that the access rights for the reports here is actually well, really different from the custom access rights. Maybe you remember that for the custom access rights, it was all or nothing access rights. Here, it is different. So once you have access to the beta reports, you will only be able to see the data that you actually have access to. I will make an example. For example, I want to create a report about the employee turnover rate, but I don't have access to the termination date and the termination type attributes. My report will be empty. So I won't be able to see any information. So this is just a general rule to keep in mind, that the beta builder shows the information you have based on your assigned role. So this is just something to keep in mind. Voila, now you should be able to see my screen again. Sorry for that, some technical issues here. So what we will do now, we will go into the live demo. So I want to show you some reports. So I will show you how these reports are done. Before going in the live demo, actually, I would like you to tell me with which report I should start. So now we have a pool that just started here. And yeah, if you can let me know if you have maybe a preference about a specific report that we want to start with, we can do that. Or just take a sip of water and wait for your answers. Great. So most of you actually voted. I see that 48%, 47% now voted for the template report absence days. Great. We'll start with that and then we move on. Thank you for answering that. So if I'm correct, you should be all able to see my my screen and my reports page. Maybe you can react with some emojis so I know that you're seeing the right things. Perfect. So we said that we wanted to start with the absence report. So let's do that. So this is the overview page that I actually, well, see when I go to my reports, as you see in the left corner. I want to go to the template. I go just on the upper right corner, click on create. As you see, you still have the classic builder available, so you can still use it, but let's not focus on that today. Today, we want to focus on the beta builder. So we click here, and as you can see, we have 7 templates available. So here we go, the absent days. We click on create, and here we go. So as you can see that here we have a chart. This is the chart that I will see by default. So here by default, I will see the chart type line. Of course, you can change the chart type if you wish to a vertical bar, a horizontal bar, and so on. But let's keep it a line for now. And as you can see the movements of my taken and planned absence days of my entire organization. Here below, you have a table. So a table that shows you also the breakdown per month of the absence days taken by the entire organization. Let's say that this doesn't tell me that much, so I want to analyze this further. What would I do? So first of all, I can change the time range. Let's say that instead of previous 6 months, I want to look at this year. Great. So this tells me a little bit more. So for example, I can see here that in May, my entire organization took the most vacation days, and in the summer months, less. This is, of course, dummy data. So this is a little bit unrealistic, but let's say that this was, the company I work for. Well, I want to even filter this further. This doesn't say me that much. And let's say that I'm interested in seeing what are the absent days in each office. So I will go here and I will select in office. Because maybe I want to see some trends and, maybe there are some differences between offices. As you can see, here I have a lot of different lines. I have here, for example, all the names of the offices. And when I click on one office, you can see the line linked to this office, which is highlighted. Also, when I click on the dots on the lines, it's super interesting to see because I have the breakdown of absence days per office and how this grew in time. When I go on the table, it is really nice because I see also here the breakdown of the absence days. But let's say if I'm interested in seeing, hey, who in May actually took absence days in Amsterdam, I will click on the number. And here we go. Here I see that Alex, Ben, David, Elena, and the other colleagues that are here took this absence days, and I can also exactly see how many absence days they took. So this is super cool. Also, what I can do is I can filter the data further. So if I click on filters, maybe I'm interested in seeing absent days that are pending also, or and so on. So I can further analyze it also here. And also here, maybe I'm interested to see not only the paid holidays, but the sick days of people or the parental leave of people and so on. So I can really, really customize it as much as I want. I can also add another filter if I wish. One thing that is also super interesting is that you can export this data. So when you click on export, you see you have the opportunity to export this data in an Excel or in a CSV or even in an image. For example, if you want to put it in a PowerPoint for your management or to present it, and in an Excel if you want to work further on it. Great, so this is an example of the absent days. Let me show you also another example. Maybe we can analyze the overtime hours. So this is also a template that was highly requested by our customers. For example, if you want to analyze how much overtime hours there were in a specific office, because, for example, some people were overworked and you want to spread the work a little bit, or maybe you need to see if a colleague can help these people who were overworked. So this is what we see. Well, of course, here I won't have a lot of data because the week just started. but let's say that I want to analyze last month. Here we go. So here, as you can see, by default, I have the horizontal bar. Of course, you can also select other graphs if you wish to. Here I have the overtime hours, and here it is broken by days. What I can do, because maybe it's a lot of information right now, I can break it per week. So I have a better overview for myself. Great. So these are all the overtime hours breaked per week per department. So as you can see, again here, if I go on the image, I will see the breakdown, and the same here. Also, what you can do, now you have it summarized, you have the sum, but you can also look at the average, for example, or at the total. So this is really up to you how you want to see it. Let's say here that, for example, my legal department asked me, hey, I would like to have a report only about my department and to see what are the overtime hours only in my department. That is really possible. So you click on filters, you click on add filter, department. Here we will look at legal. Here you go. And here you see. So here you can see what were the overtime hours in the legal department. And if you'd like to see specifically who worked these overtime hours, for example, in the first week of September, you click on this number. And you can see that Larissa, Neil, Samantha, and Thomas had many overtime hours in this week. So maybe you can decide, hey, they're a little bit burnout, these people, so maybe we can ask another team member to help them and to take some work of them and make any other critical decision that you think might be correct. So these are the templates. What I wanted also to show you what is interesting, and as I mentioned before, you can also, let me see, also work on existing report. So as you can see here, we can see the headcount over the previous 6 months. So these are some default reports that are on your overview page. What you can do, if you click on the three dots and click on view reports, you go here, and here you have already a default report that you can analyze further. So this report is based on the headcount, for example, of the previous 6 months of your entire organization. Let's say same here, if you want to analyze it further, because this doesn't tell you so much, but maybe you want to see, hey, what was the headcount in per office or per department, for example. I can look here and I can click per department. As you can see, a lot of different colors here and a lot of different information. So this again gives you the breakdown per department. Let's say now you want to change chart. Actually, we use a lot this chart. So let's try to use, well, let's say the tree map. And let's say now that you want to see, hey, what is the headcount per supervisor? So you really would like to see, hey, what is the headcount per supervisor? Because maybe you're looking for a new office for your team, right? And you'd like to see how big the teams are in order to allocate them in the right floor or in the right room. Here we can see that Calandra Sauer has the biggest team. And you can see all the other teams here. Here it shows you actually the breakdown per team until 6, I am correct. And in others, it shows you all the other teams that are actually smaller than 6. If you go down, if again here I'm interested in seeing, hey, for example, Steven Jack, who is in his team? I see that Alex, Elena, John, and Madison are in his team, and they're all part of the Dutch team. And here I have all the other information of these employees. Great. So what you can also do, so you have templates as I showed, and you have also existing reports as I showed. But if you want to be really creative, you can also create a report from scratch. So you click here on from scratch, and here you go. So here it's completely really up to you what you want to do and how you want to create this report. So first of all, you can give it a name. Let's see that I want to analyze the weekly hours, right? Per office or per legal entity. That's it. Here we go. I can give it an extra title as well, a description if I want. Here I can choose my chart type. So let's say that I want to, well, the donut, it's almost lunchtime. So let's take a donut here. I can choose also my time range, of course. I can select a value. So in this case, we mentioned that I'd like to see the weekly hours, right? So let's put weekly hours over here. Here you go. What it shows here I can see the average weekly hours of my entire organization. Average, because here I can also put some or other, but let's keep it on average. And let's say that this doesn't tell me that much, but maybe I want to see, hey, what are the weekly hours per, what did we say, per legal entity? So I want to make some comparisons, or maybe see some trends and so on. Here we go. So here in this chart, I see that, for example, in the Netherlands, they're much more hardworking than in the parent company and the other subsidiary. Indeed, in the Netherlands, they work 40 hours, the employees, and the other work less. So really here, I can keep analyzing this as I want. I can also filter it again, so add a filter and so on. I can click on this data. I can export the report and so on. The last thing that I actually wanted to show you is our newest report. So maybe some of you have already noticed that it was in your accounts in the last, it was released to everyone yesterday, I think, but maybe you have seen it. This is the base salary development report. And this is a really cool report because you can really analyze all the salary, the base salary that is in your organization. For example, if you need to make some decisions about salary about for the next year and or some financial decisions for the coming months. As you can see, here you have an overview of the base salary in your entire organization in the previous 6 months. Let's say I want to analyze this year. Here you go. I have an overview. So as you can see, I see that there is a growth of 3% in my entire organization. And if I go here, I can see exactly what happened. Let's say that I want to segment this by departments because I'm curious to see, hey, how is the salary in split per department? Well, I can see here that in others, there is a huge increase. Well, it would be nice. I think it's a little bit realistic, right, in real life. But there's an increase, and there have been some movements in the other departments as well. And so this is a nice overview. What you can also do, here we see that the overview is in euro. I can click here. And I can see that I can also select in this case, because my account has also pounds and the Swedish currency. So what I can also do is select another currency here. Unfortunately, today, Personio doesn't have a currency converter, so it is not possible to have different currencies in the same report. But what you can do is you can create different reports with different currencies. So this is a pretty cool, template as well. I think, and you can as well filter it further if you want to. Great. So I think I showed you, well, different examples of the templates. Um, I want to show you a last one because I saw that it was actually upvoted, I remember, and I think it was the turnover rate. This is the last one that I wanted to show you because this is super interesting. I think also if, for example, you need to make a decision about, well, some employees who you want to retain in the company, and maybe you see that the turnover is high in certain departments or offices, and you need to think about different ways to increase retention in your companies. Again, here you have this chart. Here you see the previous 6 months. Let's look at it, for example, for the entire year. Here you go. Maybe this doesn't say much. You want to really see, hey, what is the turnover in the different offices? Maybe there are some trends there that you don't know yet. So here we go. Here we see that there is a turnover tendency, much more among the remote employees and in the London office. So this is, really interesting data for you to see, so you can decide maybe to take some action among the remote employees. Maybe there's some things that you can change in order to increase retention here. Great. So this was a little bit about the demo and about the beta reports. I hope that I inspired you a little bit. And now I will go back to my presentation because now I will leave actually the floor to Antonia, who will tell you a little bit more about the roadmap. So Antonia, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Daisy. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today and share a little bit of a sneak peek into our roadmap, what's to come for the upcoming months and quarters for analytics and reporting at Personio. If we click once, and you already heard about the great new functionalities that Daisy just demoed you, and you might have had already a first look into your own Personio account, what we can do already. We're of course not done yet. So this is really a continuous development process. We'll continue to build out our report builder for you and together with you. For the rest of 2024, our focus is mostly on really integrating all core HR data into our new reporting builder. What does that actually mean? If we look at our previous reporting or legacy reporting products, our system reports and custom reports, they come with great functionality. So for example, our system reports provide you a great overview of common HR metrics, come with pre-configured configurations and also visualization, whereas our custom reports really allow you to create individual, in-depth data reports on single employees or, of course, multiple employees on an employee level. And with our reporting experience that we recently launched in the beginning of the year, we really want to bring these two characteristics together. So still allow you to use our pre-configured templates, but allow you a lot of flexibility in those to really adjust them to your personal preference to reflect what is most relevant for your organization by adjusting the visualization type, the time ranges, the time interval, the segmentation or aggregation, the filters, really to make this your report and your report only. And for that, we're working on integrating more and more data to really provide also that depth of data that Personio already has in its core suite. So if we look at, for example, profile data, we already have a great depth of attributes that are currently stored on employee profiles when you create a report from scratch. But of course, we're still adding new data points to that. So for example, at the moment, we're rolling out age and tenure as data points to allow you to then actually apply these attributes with the new reporting platform or in our new reporting builder that comes with such a powerful platform and core functionalities to provide new insights that you wouldn't be able to retrieve from custom reports, for example. So one key example is, for example, looking at the average age or tenure across different segments, across your organization over time. How does it develop? How does it compare across teams, across locations, so on and so forth. We're also going to be introduced cost center data, children data, so really everything that is needed from an HR perspective. Looking at other data sources from Personio Suite, we're also integrating more and more absence data. As you might have seen already in Daisy's demo, we launched already an absence days template to allow you to track the development of absence days taken over time, either for vacation days or sick days or other time of types. And we're still doubling down on that by adding more and more absence attributes, but also absence templates to our reporting experience. So for example, we'll be introducing an absence balance template, an absence rate template, which is similar to what we have already had in our system reports, but also more in-depth absence attributes on an employee level that allow you to track, for example, absence periods over time or untaken days that are left for this year. And of course, with our absence data integration, we're always looking at hourly absences as well as daily absences. So the time unit is, of course, dependent on your organization. If we look at time already, there's, of course, one other key part to Personio's time module, which is attendance. And we already launched a overtime hours and attendance periods template in the past months, and we'll still be adding more and more attendance data to really allow you to track hours worked, ensure your employees' well-being. So for example, allowing you to track the target hours of employees comparing to the actual hours worked. And really provide that holistic view. And then looking at our salary module, if you already saw that we launched the base salary template, which is the first salary functionality in our new reporting experience, and allows you to actually compare average salaries across your workforce, track its development, already giving you a first sneak into being able to look at, is pay fair at my company? Do I have some areas where I might need to balance out or so on? And also here, we'll add more and more salary data into our new builder. So for example, allowing you to include also recurring compensations, one-time compensations, or bonus data, where we look at, of course, target bonus as well as the paid bonus. So really, I think the summary of this slide is just to give you all the data that you already store in your employees' profiles and allow you to use it within the report builder and actually gain more and more insights into your organization's health. All right. The other topic for the rest of this year, if you click once, is as simple as it is important, and that is being able to delete created reports. This is absolutely also based on your feedback. We've heard that you would, of course, Sometimes it is not enough to just edit a report that you created, but you would like to keep a clear overview of your reporting area, your space, where you work on a recurring basis. So allowing you to create to delete a report is very relevant, and that is what we'll do, and you'll be able to do very soon. All right, looking then beyond this year is more and more to come. We're looking into collaboration tools, right? I think that's also something I already saw a couple of times in the Q&A now. We've already had that feedback also from other sites through your CX representatives, but also webinars and one-on-one conversations. And right now, what happens if you create a report is that it is stored for your own user profile. However, it is not accessible for other employees or colleagues to review. But of course, we do know that from time to time, it may be relevant to actually share a report with other users, for example, to provide the insights that you gained also with your colleagues, your team, to then collaborate on decision making. Or, of course, if you would like to create a report solely for your line managers or a specific finance team or department heads, that then also looks at access rights, right? So makes sure that a marketing lead, for example, will only see the data of marketing employees. This is something we'll introduce to allow you to collaborate more efficiently and seamlessly within any analytics and reporting tasks on a recurring basis. And then for the last but not least topic, we have the customization for our overview page on our roadmap. That's also something that is, that we heard a lot from you on a continuous basis. So this is really also an important topic for us to really listen to your feedback, do what's most relevant for you with this new experience. And if you already had a look at the overview page, you know that it currently consists of 4 predefined widgets that reflect the headcount and FTE within your organization, similar, just in a little bit of a different perspective. So one's over time, one's segmented by department. And we heard that it is super relevant for you to obviously customize this view to make sure it reflects your organization and what's relevant for you. So really allowing you to customize the configuration of these metrics by adding segmentation to it, changing the timeframes, adding more filters to it, or changing the time interval to really ensure that you can gain the most out of it, but also on the other hand, of course, allow you to add new widgets to the overview page. And that's something that's also yet to come. But of course, as said, it's a continuous journey for us. That's not all. We're not going to stop there. We're continuously developing it further and further. Also looking at other Personio data stemming more from the apps area. So for example, job architecture, compensation management, or recruiting. That's also very near to us or dear to us. And then also one other key part is obviously looking into more advanced analytics functionalities to support you in gaining insights and making decisions. Actually, if you click once again to the hug, yes. And that's actually something that we'll be sharing a couple of exciting updates during our Hug event. So if you don't have any plans yet for the dates that are here on the slide, and you have some spare time, feel free to check out the Hug event and follow us along. And we'll be excited to share some upcoming analytics features there as well. And with that, I am handing over to Ines, who is moderating the Q&A now.
Amazing. Good morning, everyone. Also from my side, we have roughly 6-7 questions to go through live. And the first two are connected to absences. So Lorian asked the follow-up question on, are beta reports also available when absences are in hours? And Ruth also asked, can we see untaken holidays on this data? So you mentioned this briefly in the roadmap presentation, but it would be great to have a specific response to this.
Of course. Yeah. Happy to answer. Yes. So for example, for the absence days template, it is also possible to switch that to an hourly view. So wherever you have absence types that are tracked in hours, you can switch that up within the reporting builder to then store as set and then filter, for example, just for absence types that are tracked in hours to ensure that this is correctly reflected. And if we look at untaken vacation days, that's also something we'll be introducing as part of the more additional absence attributes that we'll be introducing on an employee level. So allowing you to create a view on what's actually the current vacation balance of my workforce, be it today or at the end of the year. So what's still left for them to plan. That's something we'll introduce as well. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you. And now a couple of questions on the overview page and also how to save the replies and how they are up to date. So one of the questions came from Ruth, and she asked, or she said that the dream for them would be the ability to create a dashboard view for different users. So for example, line managers have an overview of sickness, holiday taken or outstanding, etc. for their team and so on. Is this on the roadmap with Personio?
Yeah. Yeah, so it probably speaks a little bit to the last two roadmap items I mentioned, right? So our collaboration feature allowing you to share reports that still reflects or respects the access rights of the users that the report has been shared with. So for example, that a line manager would only see the data from their direct reports or indirect reports if that is desired. And then allowing the customization of overview pages and dashboards. That's something a little bit further down the road, I'd say, but still something we're looking into for sure. Yes.
Perfect. And two other questions regarding that. One comes from David. So David asked, is it possible to also add custom reports to the overview page? So other than the beta reports?
That's currently not planned, no. We're solely focusing on the new reporting functionalities for the overview page. So for now, we're only planning to allow adding the new reports to this overview page. But of course, with the more data available, we hope that it will resolve the same use cases as custom reports does already now. So it should be pretty much resolved as that as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Antonia. And now Brianna asked, I see that you can save or pin better reports to your reports in the dashboards. Do the charts automatically update in real life every time you go to your reports dashboard?
Yeah, currently the changes that are done on templates are stored just for the then saved report on the Your Reports page, but it is not reflected on the overview page. That's something we'll be looking into for the overview page customization.
Amazing. And Millie asks, will the reports automatically update once saved?
Yes, absolutely. So probably that means in terms of when data of employees is being changed or attendance data is added, changed, and so on. So any changes that you do on employee profiles is then automatically reflected in the report builder. So there is no need anymore to update reports or reload them once you made a small change on employee data.
Thank you. And now more on on the roadmap and additional templates potentially. Michelle asked, will there be a report to assist with the gender pay gap reporting requirements?
Gender pay gap is actually a topic we're looking into right now internally. So yes, we'll be offering pay gap reporting functionalities in the future. Right now, it's still in discovery. So if you have any feedback, we're always excited to hear all about it, and actively looking for customers to talk to about it. So feel free to reach out to your account manager or our support team. And excited to drive this together.
Perfect. Thank you, Antonia. I see that we have now a couple of questions that just came up, and as we still have a couple of minutes, maybe we can pick it up live as well. So Magdalena asked or said that in the salary development report, you mentioned that the report shows values in euros. Does that mean that the system only reports salaries that we have euro value, or does it recalculate other currencies?
Yeah, so it depends on which currencies you use in your current Personio setup or account. So in case you also have employees who are paid in a different currency, you will also see the base salary field for other currencies. Right now, we don't have currency conversion available in our report builder, which is why we separate the base salary depending on the currency. So if you have also employees based in the UK, you will be seeing a UK currency version of the base salary as well, so pounds in that case.
Thank you. And another question from Dominic, also looking into the roadmap. Are you planning to update basic reporting features or filter, copying reports, building report folders, search for shared reports, etc.?
I may have to reread that question. I didn't understand it right, I think. So this is around filtering, if I understand. So with the new reporting experience, our filter setup actually changed. So depending on the attribute type that you're filtering for, so let's say, for example, you want to filter by multiple departments, that is now possible by allowing you to add a filter statement that says the department is one of marketing or sales or product and engineering, let's say. So it can combine more values in one filter setting. Does that answer the question?
And I think Dominic also refers to having or filters, having folders and so on.
Yeah, so currently multiple filter statements are still connected by an and. So we do not have an or yet. The or is just available within one single filter statement if that can be applied to the attribute. But that's great feedback to hear. So I'll definitely make sure to share that back with the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonia. And final question, and just to clarify this, Angel asked, do I understand this well? Will the beta version be launched in 2025?
So it's already launched. We're just adding more and more functionality to it. So throughout 2025, we'll be adding new features, new data points, new reporting capabilities. So definitely we'll be launching more and more things, but it's already available in your accounts now in the current state.
Yeah. And following up also on another question that came up, if you don't see it yet, it might have to do with your access rights. So in case you're not account admins, that may be the reason why you don't see it. So just kindly confirm with your account administrators if you can see it as well. And final one, is there the plan to integrate with other modules such as learning and development, recruiting, and so on?
Yes. Further down the line, we're also planning to integrate more apps data to Personio, such as recruiting or job architecture, and so on. Yeah. And I think actually with that, we need to hand over to Daisy again. for the
Thank you so much for all the answers and roadmap overview. Thanks everyone for the questions.
questions. Very excited to hear about your feedback and drive this together. Daisy.
Yes, great. Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Ines. So, and thank you all for your questions. So now we are at the end of our webinar today. So I'd like to show a brief summary of what we discussed. So first of all, indeed, we discussed the beta builders. Today, we have currently 7 pre-built templates available, much more to come. You can choose different graphs for your templates. Also, they are exportable, so you can export them by CSV or Excel or also in an image. And important, everyone sees only the reports that they create. Also here, just a side note, indeed, that the beta builders won't affect your custom reports. You're still able to create your custom reports as well. About, the big difference for the employee roles is that, well, custom reports are all or nothing access, and the beta reports, actually, you only see the data that you have access to. So this is probably good news also. Indeed, an Help Center article note here. And as Antonia also mentioned, stay tuned. So we will have much more templates to follow, much more attributes to be able to see and to filter on, for example, cost center or number of children or a pay gap and so on. So great. So we are really at the end of the webinar. I think, it is lunchtime for everyone. So I hope that you really enjoyed the webinar and that, you feel inspired to test or to use this beta builder further. Before leaving, I'd like to ask you to answer the last question, the last poll that is coming up. What do you think about our HR hour and about the content? Of course, be honest. I ask you to be honest. If it was really boring for you, please feel free to share this. But also if you really liked the webinar or maybe it was so really let us know what you think so that we can improve the content for next time. So let me see. I will wait a couple of seconds for the answer coming in. So I see that actually 80% mentioned that the webinar was really helpful. So that is really great to hear. A small 60% says that it was okay, a little bit of repetition. Well, good. That means that you're using the beta reports, but of course, feedback taken. So we would do better next time. And then small 3% answered that it was not helpful at all. So thank you for sharing and being honest about it. Well, with this one, I will finish the webinar. So thank you so much for joining. We will share the recording later this week, so you can watch it again or maybe share it with some colleagues who were not able to join today. Thank you so much, and speak to you soon. Ciao, ciao.